Weather's gone wild, deserts are freezing, heat waves are hitting in spring, and floods are drowning cities overnight. Ever wondered why this is all happening now? It's not random, and it's definitely not normal. These weather anomalies are flashing red warnings, and the truth behind them is more urgent than you think. Welcome to Spin of Facts, where we unpack the chaos, decode the science, and reveal the facts you absolutely need to know before the next storm hits your doorstep. Before we dive in, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's get started. Rising ocean temperatures are fueling extreme storms. The oceans are quietly absorbing over 90% of the Earth's excess heat, but the consequences are anything but quiet. As water temperatures rise, they inject more moisture and energy into the atmosphere, turning regular storms into supercharged monsters. Hurricanes like Dorian and Haiyan exploded in strength almost overnight, driven by unusually warm seas. These storms don't just bring wind, they bring biblical rainfall, flooding, and storm surges that rewrite coastlines. And with every degree rise in ocean heat, their destructive potential grows. Scientists are even debating a new category of storms beyond Category 5. Communities once considered safe zones are now seeing floodwaters and hurricane-force winds. If we ignore the link between warm seas and wild storms, we'll keep getting hit harder and faster by weather events that once seemed unimaginable. Arctic meltdown is disrupting global jet streams. The Arctic is heating at nearly 4 times the global average, and it's flipping the jet stream, our planet's natural air traffic controller, on its head. These high-speed wind currents steer weather across the globe, but Arctic warming is weakening and distorting them. That distortion traps heat waves, freezes, and floods in place far longer than usual. Remember the Texas deep freeze or Europe's deadly heat dome? Both were jet stream misfires. Normally, mobile weather patterns now get stuck, creating chaos in places unprepared for it. The scary part? These shifts mean extreme weather is less random and more predictable, in a dangerous way. A warming Arctic might feel far away, but it's affecting weather systems across every continent. What happens at the top of the world now affects all of us, fast and unpredictably. Heat waves are becoming more frequent and deadly. Heat waves aren't just summer annoyances anymore, they're killers. Across the globe, these extreme temperature events are becoming more frequent, more intense, and much longer lasting. In places like Europe, South Asia, and the Western US, temperatures regularly cross 45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit, pushing people, power grids, and crops to the brink. In 2022 alone, Europe lost over 61,000 lives to heat-related illnesses. Cities are especially vulnerable due to the urban heat island effect. Concrete and asphalt trap heat, pushing nighttime temps dangerously high. Wildfires ignite more easily, reservoirs dry up, and hospitals overflow. Scientists warn that without adaptation and drastic emissions cuts, these heat waves won't be rare spikes, they'll be the new normal. And the most affected? Low-income communities and elderly populations with little access to cooling. This isn't just climate science, it's a public health emergency. Unseasonal snowfall is linked to climate chaos. Snow in the desert, winter and springtime. These aren't quirky weather facts, they're symptoms of a destabilized climate system. As the polar regions warm rapidly, cold air escapes south, bringing unseasonal snowstorms to regions that never expected it. In 2021, camels stood in snow-covered dunes in Saudi Arabia, and Madrid saw its biggest snowfall in 50 years. But more than being photogenic oddities, these events signal deeper atmospheric imbalances. When warm and cold fronts clash unpredictably, weather gets weird and dangerous. Snowstorms in warm weather regions can paralyze infrastructure, destroy crops, and leave millions unprepared. It's not global cooling, it's climate volatility, a sign that the entire system is off balance. Seeing snow where it shouldn't be isn't a fun fluke. It's a red flag that our seasons and safety are shifting fast. Wildfires are evolving into megafires. Wildfires used to be seasonal and somewhat predictable. Today, they're more like rolling disasters, burning longer, spreading faster, and costing billions. These megafires, seen in places like Australia, California, and Greece, are fed by a deadly trio: hotter temps, drier landscapes, and stronger winds. The 2019-2020 Black Summer in Australia scorched over 46 million acres. In California, fire seasons now extend year-round, destroying homes and ecosystems alike. And these fires aren't just local problems. Their smoke crosses oceans, choking air thousands of miles away. Forests that once needed occasional burns are now overwhelmed, turning from carbon sinks into carbon bombs. What's worse? Fires are spreading into places like Arctic tundra, where they were virtually unheard of. These infernos aren't just hotter, they're smarter, deadlier, and more global than ever before. Floods are striking harder and in unexpected places. Floods used to follow seasonal patterns or hit regions known for heavy rain. Now they're popping up in the most unlikely places with terrifying force. Germany, Belgium, and even the arid American Southwest have seen entire cities go underwater. The reason? Warmer air holds more moisture, which means when it rains, it pours. Add melting glaciers and poorly planned urban growth, and you've got a recipe for disaster. In 2021, Zhengzhou, China, got a year's worth of rain in just 3 days, overwhelming everything. These rain bombs turn streets into rivers and leave governments scrambling. Concrete-heavy cities don't absorb water well, turning rainfall into instant flash floods. The scary part? These floods are becoming regular, not rare. Without better infrastructure and climate action, water, not fire, might be the next big global threat. Droughts are becoming longer and more widespread. Rain isn't coming when it should, or at all, in many parts of the world. Droughts are intensifying, lasting longer, and hitting regions that once had reliable water. The American Southwest, Southern Europe, and Africa's Horn are drying out fast. In 2022, Italy's longest river, the Po, dropped so low that World War II shipwrecks resurfaced. The Colorado River, vital for 40 million people, is shrinking at an alarming rate. These aren't just inconvenient dry spells. They're triggering food shortages, energy disruptions, and even migration. Crops die, reservoirs dry up, and farmers abandon land they've worked for generations. Climate scientists link this directly to rising global temperatures disrupting rainfall cycles. These droughts expose how fragile our water systems are, and when water disappears, entire economies start to crack under the weight of climate pressure. Shifting monsoon patterns are affecting billions. Monsoons have always been lifelines for regions like South Asia and West Africa, feeding crops and filling reservoirs. But now, these vital rain patterns are misfiring. Monsoons arrive late, leave early, or drop torrential rain in just days instead of weeks. India's 2023 monsoon was so delayed and uneven that farmers were left guessing and losing. These shifts aren't just weather quirks, they're climate alarms. Changing ocean temperatures and wind patterns are scrambling monsoon timing, leaving billions at risk of both floods and droughts. Food prices surge, power shortages spread, and vulnerable communities are pushed to the edge. This unpredictable rhythm means more failed harvests, more displacement, and more climate-fueled poverty. The monsoon clock is broken, and unless it's reset, we'll be facing a humanitarian disaster hiding inside a weather report. Glacial retreat is a ticking time bomb. Glaciers might seem remote and irrelevant, but they store water for billions. Now they're vanishing. In the Andes, Alps, and Himalayas, glaciers are melting faster than at any point in history. The Hindu Kush has already lost 40% of its ice since the 1980s. These icy reservoirs feed rivers that supply farms, cities, and industries. When they melt too fast, they flood valleys. When they're gone, rivers dry up. It's not just about water, it's about survival. Glacial lake outbursts are now more common, wiping out towns in minutes. The Alps might be glacier-free by 2100. As glaciers disappear, water security, energy supply, and agriculture all hang in the balance. This isn't just a high-altitude issue, it's a global countdown. And once these glaciers are gone, there's no backup plan waiting in the wings. Climate change is amplifying all weather extremes. No matter the event, flood, fire, snow, or storm, climate change is the accelerator behind it all. It doesn't create every disaster, but it makes each one worse, faster, and more destructive. Our once stable climate system is now overloaded with greenhouse gases. Events we called once in a century now happen every few years. It's like adding gasoline to every storm and spark. The science is clear. Warming just a few degrees means more energy in the system and more chaos. From Canadian heat domes to submerged cities in Asia, We're seeing the new climate reality unfold. This isn't about predictions anymore, it's about consequences. And unless we act now, these extremes will only become more frequent, more expensive, and more deadly. Thanks for sticking with us through this deep dive into Earth's most alarming weather shifts. These facts aren't just shocking, they're signals of a world changing before our eyes. At Spin of Facts, we're here to break it down, cut through the noise, and bring you the truth behind today's most urgent global changes. Got thoughts or questions? Drop them in the comments. I read every single one. Share this with a friend who needs to see this. Subscribe now so you don't miss what's coming next. Trust me, it's worth it.